guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time to my channel. Good to have you. I just got back from the grocery store and I picked up a bunch of groceries in order to plan out my meals for the next 2 days. That is to say, tomorrow and the day after, I'm going to be prepping out my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner completely vegan, plant-based, healthy, that sort of thing. So I work as a bartender in San Francisco, you guys know that, and I'm gonna be gone for the next 2 days, just working all day. I'm like pulling a double tomorrow, and then I have to open the next day. And when I'm that busy at work, I kind of need to plan out my meals, or else I just end up buying all my food, which costs a lot of money. If you guys followed me last week on Instagram, you'll notice that I went to this place called Urban Remedy, and this place is so good. I was going there all week last week because I did not meal prep at all, and it's so good. I highly recommend it. I get their vegan raw pad thai all the time. It's so good, but it's very expensive, especially when you're buying every single meal, you know, and you're not prepping anything. And so in order to save money and time and all of that, I decided to go ahead and prepare my vegan breakfast, lunches, and dinners for the next 2 days. That is to say, guys, if you want to double up on these recipes, you absolutely can, and plan out 4 days instead of 2 if you want like a little bit more in your fridge to grab and go. But I wouldn't prep out more than 4 days because a lot of these ingredients are raw, they're vegetables, they're fresh ingredients, and so you don't want them to go bad before you get a chance to eat them. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my kitchen and share with you what I'm planning out for the next 2 days. Alright guys, so the first thing that I'm going to do to get started prepping are these overnight oats, and these will be my breakfast for the next couple of days, and this recipe is super simple. All you need are some rolled oats, some chia seeds, some brown sugar or maple syrup, some cinnamon, some non-dairy milk, and some bananas. Also, you'll need a few to-go containers. To start, I'm just going to add in a cup of rolled oats into each of my to-go containers, and then I'll add in about a tablespoon of chia seeds, some brown sugar, and about a cup of soy milk or whatever non-dairy milk you have. And then I'll go ahead and stir that up. Then I'll add in some sliced bananas over the top and sprinkle it with just a little bit of cinnamon. When you leave these oats in the fridge overnight, the oats and the chia will absorb the soy milk and become oatmeal that's ready to grab and go. It's such a simple and satisfying breakfast. I also had some leftover fruit in my fridge, and so I just made these little mini fruit salad cups, and I'll go ahead and have these on the side for my breakfast. Okay, so for lunch I've been loving these fresh spring rolls, and they're so great because you can fill them with whatever veggies you want and make them totally customizable. The ingredients I'll be using for mine are some rice paper wrappings, some mint leaves, some cilantro, which you can leave out if you don't like cilantro, some English cucumber, some baked firm tofu, some avocado, and some carrots that I sliced into these little ribbons using a veggie peeler. To make the ribbons, I just went down the side of a peeled carrot with my veggie peeler until I had the amount of ribbons that I wanted. Also, to prevent the rice paper from sticking and to add a little bit of flavor to the rolls, I added some toasted sesame oil. To begin making these spring rolls, you'll want to grab 2 large shallow dishes and fill one with water and sprinkle the other one with the sesame oil. Then taking 2 of the rice paper sheets, you'll want to go ahead and dip them into the water to let them soften up for about 15 seconds. Soaking these will allow them to become soft and pliable. Once they become soft, pull them out and lay them flat on the oil dish to be rolled up with the fillings. I'm starting out by laying down some mint and some cilantro, then some carrot ribbons, some tofu slices, some cucumber, and some avocado slices. Then once that's in there, I'm just going to tuck in the ends and roll it up tightly. Then I'll slice it in half with a sharp knife and pack it into a to-go container. I'm going to continue this process until I have the amount of rolls I want, which I find that 2 rolls cut in half is perfect for 1 lunch. So since I'm preparing 2 days worth, I made 4 full rolls total. Now for the dipping sauce for these rolls, you'll want to go ahead and grab a few more ingredients. You'll want some sort of nut butter, I'm using peanut, some hoisin sauce, some garlic chili sauce, and some garlic powder. Go ahead and just mix a few tablespoons of the nut butter and hoisin, and then about a teaspoon of the chili and a few shakes of the garlic powder. This sauce is going to be thick, so add a little bit of warm water and then just mix it all up until it's smooth. Once it's mixed up, I just poured a little into 2 small to-go containers, and then this completed my veggie spring rolls for lunch. I gotta tell you guys, I have been prepping out these rolls so often lately because they're one of my favorite lunches to pack up. They're really easy. Again, they're super customizable and they're just so delicious. Okay, so finally for my dinner prep, I decided to go ahead and prep out some roasted kabocha squash with garlic lemon pepper rice. To be honest, I think that this dinner could be great with some sort of sauce or dressing, but it's good without it as well, so just so you know, that's an option if you would like. To begin, I started by taking a big kabocha squash, which is just this big dense squash that tastes a lot like pumpkin, and I started to try to peel the rind, but I found that it was way too difficult, so I decided to leave it on. When you cook the squash, the rind actually becomes really soft, and it's totally fine to leave it on because it tastes really good, so it's not a big deal to leave the rind on. Now came the task of trying to cut it open, and it was super difficult to do, but I finally got it. Once it was opened up, I went ahead and scooped out the seeds, and I saved them to be cleaned and roasted to add to salads or to snack on. To cook the squash, I placed it in a big cooking pot and then added a few cups of water. Then I covered it tightly and turned the heat on medium-high to steam it for about a half an hour. While that was cooking, I went ahead and started the rice by adding 1.5 cups of brown rice to my cooker along with 3 cups of water. Then I squeezed in the juice of half a lemon and its zest, and then about 2 to 4 cloves of chopped fresh garlic. Finally, I sprinkled it with some onion and garlic powder and some salt and pepper, and then I just covered it up to steam. After about a half hour, my squash was cooked all the way through, so I carefully transferred it to a cutting board and started slicing it into smaller squares. This part is totally optional, but I took a couple tablespoons of melted Earth Balance vegan butter, and then I just drizzled it over the top of the cooked squash, and then I sprinkled it with a little bit of cinnamon. Once the rice was finished cooking, I scooped it into my to-go containers and then just laid out my buttered squash right over the top. Such a simple recipe, but it really fills you up and it is just so delicious. You can make this recipe with really any squash or vegetables that you have on hand, but since kabocha squash is so dense, it really fills you up and I just absolutely love it, so that's what I used for this recipe. Okay guys, so that completes my prepping out 2 days worth of vegan meals. I hope you enjoyed watching it and I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves and have an awesome rest of your week.